not enough time to work on each one of them. So,
I know. Cause like I be juggling on when doing content, music, and books. So that's very tough within itself,
yeah, man.
bro. Answer this, bro. How you how you so young and have gray hair?
Yo, it's funny. I've had gray hair since I was 15.
You lying?
Yeah, I've always had gray hair, man. Shit's kind of weird, but I
Damn.
think it's hereditary or something. And I used to stress a lot, and I used to beat myself up a lot mentally. Like, I think that's might have something to do with it, but yeah. So that's what it came. I started getting grays when I was very young. My mom, I used to have locks, and my mom used to stay picking my hair, thinking that the grays was like lint. She'd be like, "You always roll around in the floor, got the rug in your hair."
Hell nah. So she fucked your hair up.
No, no, my mom was a loctician. She took care of it, but she was like, "Yo, why is it?" She always, think I was just a boy who was always rolling in the dirt and rolling in the on the rugs and stuff. So she just thought that I was getting the carpet in my hair.
When I guess you realized that your hair was gray.
We never really realized that. We started dyeing it.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, we never realized it until I was probably like 18, 19.
God damn.
Yeah. Yeah, it was probably younger than 15, really. It's probably like 11, 12. I've always had grays.
But why you was stressing as a kid though? That shit unheard of. See, and that's I'm glad I just like the children's like mental health is a motherfucker. So why? You
Well,
can't make this shit up. But why? But yeah.
when I was real young, I had we used to live in the projects, man, like in Brooklyn, and a house we had like got burglarized. Is that the word, burglarized? So somebody broke into our house, home invasion, whatever, and I always thought I knew who did it. Like he used to live in the building. He was like a crackhead or something like. And I used to he used to ride the elevator with me, and I used to be very protective of my mom. So I just had this very this mindset. It just had me like awaken me a lot earlier because I was very vigilant of that happening again and shit. So maybe that was what I was stressing about. I don't know.
How old were you?
Shoot, how old did we left Vanderveer? Had to be somewhere like 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there.
Damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah. And the guy stayed right in, like, across the hall. And I used to just hate this dude, but but I was just too young to like really do anything about it. But
Right.
yeah, but finally we moved out of there, and yeah, it was just, I don't know. I guess always kept that whole mindset though, like protecting home, and it was just me and my mom at that time. But we moved into my aunt's house, and she had like 7 kids. So I kind of started to associate a house full of people with safety. And yeah, so that just turned in, yeah, it's a whole crazy story, bro.
That shit is wild.
Yeah, but it did, I think it did do some childhood like trauma type shit to me. I did carry that for a long time.
And that's children's mental health right there.
You try, right? Right.
Shit. What happened if you see that crackhead?
Now,
Yeah.
man, he probably be an old 67-year-old man probably by now.
So
Yeah, I mean, I grew past it now.
so also like you ain't seen him since.
Nah, I haven't really even been to that. area of Brooklyn since we moved from.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. I didn't
What,
know about that in a minute.
what, but what led you to think that it was him?
Shoot. I think he was like we was in the elevator one time. It was my mom and I don't know. I just felt her energy. I think she felt like he was him, and he was just acting. You know how somebody who did something like stole from you, but they be like asking you questions like, and then what happened? Like it was one of them type of things.
Yeah, yeah,
And it was
yeah.
like it was your ass. Yeah, even as a young kid, I tell like yo, because who else? He was like one of the even at 7, 8 years old, I could realize like he was the only person that didn't work and have like a regular schedule. So he would just be watching other people when they go to work, this and that. And my mom was a hairstylist, so we had a lot of traffic coming to the house. She used to have us, run her salon out of the house.
Damn.
So it's kind of like he knew we had cash in the house. He knew something valuable was in there. People was always coming and
But,
going.
but how you trip off? I mean, but how do you know and trip off that shit when you were 7 years old though?
I just knew I have three older sisters. I was the only boy, so I just was very overprotective of my sisters and mom and stuff like that. So,
At a
but my
young
sisters are way
age.
older than me.
Damn.
Sisters are way older than me. They like 15. My youngest sister's like 14 years older than me. So it was just at this time it was just me and my mom. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I don't know. I just felt like he was watching us for a while and just took his opportunity. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't home when they broke into the house, but I just remember walking up to that door and seeing seeing the front door like crowbar open type shit, and the
That's
handle.
crazy. At a
Yeah,
young age. So you sound like so your older sisters was
they was
like
in college.
damn, why you were 7 years old?
Yeah, like somewhere around that age, 7, 8, 9.
Children's mental health is key. And I got a special guest, my nigga, Raw. I admit it is. What up?
You funny, bro.
What's up? What's going
What's good,
on?
bro? How you say your name, Bari or Bari?
Barry, yeah,
Bari, what's up, bro?
it's good. They sent you a follow.
Yeah, Bari, I admit it is. He's like good people. He's my close friend.
That's what's up.
And it's a blessing, man. Just it's a blessing. I admit it is. What's your take on children's mental health?
Um, shit. Oh, my bad. I ain't trying to like be cussing a lot and whatnot, but as
Feel
you
free.
as you know, as you know, a bit of what I've been going through, bro. Uh, it's kind of been like worsening along the way, but I didn't hear all of your story, Bari. I just hopped on, but
Okay, Barbie. Repeat the story to I admit it is.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was just telling the brother how when I was around 7 or 8, we had a home burglary, and I just remembered, I just remember knowing who it was as a child, and just having this protective spirit over my mom, and I forgot how we actually even got into that, but yeah, I was pretty much telling him about the burglary and just remembering as a child, and just kind of feeling like I knew who it was.
Were they
and how I carried that for
were they
a
like
few
mad
years.
stuff or something?
Now I wasn't home when it happened, but I just remember it like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I remember the doors and stuff being like pried open when you came in to put your key in when mom was just putting her key in, and the door is like pried open. You just push it open, you see the house like ransacked, and oh yeah, we was talking about how I have gray hair. I've had gray hair since I was real young, and he was asking me where that could have came from, and that's how I started that story right there. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I think you on the gray hair thing. Uh, I guess I don't really know even where to start, but I guess because like kind of like what your story is, I guess I kind of thought of something a little similar. Because it kind of made me think of like so I guess I was probably probably around like 14, 15, 16 or something like that. Um, we lived in like I guess you call it the projects. Um, uh, my parents like would be going back and forth. At that time, my dad was like off and on some drugs. Um, but this particular time, I'm not sure if he was like high at this time, but so my parents was getting into it. They ended up getting into a fight. Uh, Apparently, I found out recently from my youngest brother that that fight was actually caused more so by my mom agitating our dad and like wouldn't get out of his face. He was trying to you know how sometimes a man get into an argument with a woman, you know what I'm saying, the man is kind of like all right, I'm done arguing and shit, like get on somewhere. And like she just kept on egging it on and then like putting her hands on him. She kept on hitting him and whatnot. And then I don't remember that part. But basically got to the part where they got to fight. He got tired of it, and they got to fighting. And then like he was hitting her back. They got to fighting. It ended up outside. Um, Pretty much the whole neighborhood was out there. Older folks was out there. Teenagers was out there. Kids was out there. Everybody was out there. A lot of the teenagers and them was out there was like laughing and mocking and you know what I'm saying, like agitating the situation. But one thing I like vividly remembered, because this part was like kind of traumatic to me, was the fact that like none of the older folks was like trying to help. You know what I'm saying? Was trying to help it like break it up or nothing like that. Now for a long time because I didn't see the initial why the fight started. Um, for a long time, to me, it seemed like they just got into it, and then like my dad would just got to beating her ass. You know what I'm saying? So like it seemed like that. Uh, but nobody was trying to break it up. They fighting. Uh, at one point, he was trying to stab her, or maybe he was just trying to like act like he was trying to stab her to scare her or whatnot. But then at a certain point, like he was like he had on the ground, he was just like beating her, like pretty much it was like a lot of face shots. Like almost to the point was like she was like defenseless, like none of her putting her hands up and whatnot was like blocking any of the shots. Uh, so like um, at one point I remember I went in the house and I grabbed a bat because not only did my mom, but even the neighbors was telling us to stay inside. So I go inside and I grab a bat and I go outside and I got the bat, but like because I'm seeing him like beating the hell out of my mom, like I froze. Like this is a very traumatic moment. I froze. And then at one point he like had got up and then he had seen me with the bat. And I remember him saying like he walked up like stormed over towards me and I remember him saying like give me that. I'll show you what to do with that. But like I like didn't let him get the bat. And like I didn't let him get the bat and then he just like went on and like continued to do what he was doing or whatever. But like the most traumatic part to me was that while we were inside, it was now this was probably before I grabbed the bat, but when we was inside, like we like looking out the door and like out the screen door and stuff. And I remember at a certain point, like I'm looking and like ain't nobody helping, and that was like fucking me up in the mind. And so like I just got to yelling, and I was just like, "Get the fuck off my mom, motherfucker!" Da 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 da. So after the shit was over, or like after he hopped in the car and left and whatnot, my mom was sitting outside in a chair. The neighbors had her sitting in a chair and was like pretty much like tending to her and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? We were still inside, and then like I had went outside to like see if my mom was okay or whatnot, and she was like, "Come here." And so I went over there, and then she was like, basically like, I'm whooping your ass for cussing. Now, to I guess to like any like average parent or certain parents that are strict or maybe religious or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? That may be like an understandable thing. But since what the topic is, from a child's mental standpoint, that like crashed my brain because you telling me that you're gonna punish me because whether I cussed or not, you telling me you're gonna punish me because I was the only one that tried to help and try and like defend you and protect you. And like that's something that like uh what is this like 2 decades later that's like always sat on my heart.
Whoa, man, that's wild, man. Yeah, man, that's wow.
Like that's something that would, and I'm pretty sure like either other people experience something pretty similar to that or kind of similar to that, but like that causes a lot of confusion because like saying curse words or not, like your child was trying to protect. Not only was your child trying to protect you, they were the only one trying to protect you. But then it ended up they being the only one that you were going to punish for trying to protect you.
Hey, man, I'm sorry you experienced that, bro. That's that is a conflicting emotion right there. Damn.
Like I
Yeah.
think a lot of things are different in this day and time now, but from whether back then at that time or to this time now, like I don't think people are really paying attention to or like even really like fully grasping I don't even know how to put it into words really like we're using the words mental health. But I would even kind of say that like that's just scratching the surface, really. Um,
Children's mental health.
yeah, children's mental health, yeah. But even to say that mental health is like that's just scratching the surface of that topic. Like it goes deeper than that. Like for one, like that did something to my mental, you know what I'm saying? But that also did something to like uh my self esteem, uh my self identity, uh my communication, like a lot of different factors, you know what I'm saying? Like and like over time, like I've been through a lot of different other traumatic things, but like over time, uh you know how like things happen when you're younger and you go through like a long stage of uh feeling hurt and dealing with the hurt and whatnot. But sometimes you get to a point where you kind of like start to realize, like it's to a certain point, I start to realize that like this goes beyond me. Like, how do I say it? Like I kind of it kind of makes me think like when people say hurt people hurt people. Like to a certain point in time, I realized that the ways that I was like hurt in different ways, I realized like, oh shit, hold on, like they were hurt. Like something happened to them when they were younger that they were hurt, and like that's why they are certain ways and have certain behaviors and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So like, but like a lot of times those things go either unsaid, undealt with. You know what I'm saying? Like, so either it gets passed on or it just gets swept under the rug. But
Yeah, it sounded like she was trying to deal with her own mental health at that moment, and
right or something like
yeah, like you said, she was defenseless, and it seemed like she lashed out on you to like maintain
mm,
some sort of dominance.
right. I
And
think over the years it also made me uh part of me wants to say realize, but for right now I say just made me kind of think that like another reason either that moment or other incidents uh was kind of also had to do with like um me being treated certain ways because of who my dad is. You know what I'm saying? Like uh some people end up in those type of situations too where like okay, here's your parents, this your dad. They get into it, they break up, divorce, or back and forth, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And whoever that father is, whichever kids is his kids, they get treated a certain type of way because they are his kids. Like it's not, it doesn't really have anything to do with the child, but because whatever happened with that father or that man, and then now they're not around anymore or whatever, like there's still animosity there, you know what I'm saying? But they're not around anymore. So uh basically that animosity or those feelings or whatnot get taken out on the children because they're his children and the children are still there. Like they can't look up and aim those emotions and whatnot at that man because he ain't around. But the closest thing to him is his kids and they right here. So like I think also like dealt with that also. I think I still do deal with that.
And right, children's mental health, it don't go nowhere. So children's mental health is from 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and up. Because it don't matter how grown we get, it don't matter how many bills you pay, how many families you take care of and raise. You have a brain for a reason and you have a heart for a reason. Children's mental health is important and valuable because it sticks in your heart and mind for years and years and years and years. You will never forget the pain and hurt. And one of my damn how many children's mental health episodes I done. Probably it's probably on my sixth one. But I said on one of my episodes, it was fucked up that me and my two older brothers, we was bragging about who had the most bruises because we used to got whooped by cable cords,
Yeah.
hangers, plastic bats, sometimes the uh the broomstick or whatever, and whatever my mama like got her hands on. So children's mental health is crazy because her childhood, she only told me like I can tell she only told me 10 or 20% of her childhood, but she took her anger out on us. And well, obviously, like single mothers, like they struggle on, like when it comes to men, like when it comes to finding the right man, they struggle with that. But children's mental health, it goes a long way. I just hope our generation protect children's mental health much as possible. And you guys can still speak because I'm fixing spaghetti right now. So you guys can still speak, and I'm still listening.
Yeah, man, that just makes me think of I was dealing with my OG just earlier this week. This is my mom my stepdad as of recent, and he's like 70 something years old, and I still sometimes me and him be getting talking, and I mean we may light one or whatever, and he'll still be talking about stuff that his dad did to him.
Mm.
That's literally like 60 years ago, and as he's talking, I can see, just looking at his face, I can see like a younger version of him, like living that experience, like as he's telling me it. So
Like it was yesterday.
like it was yesterday, bro. Like it just happened a minute ago.
Right.
Um,
Oh, noodles.
yeah, it's crazy, man. So it's like that child, that inner child, you can't escape him. He gonna live with you forever, and you can't escape him. I mean, that's the man in the mirror. I mean, you're gonna always kind of see things from that perspective, especially when something hits you, deep emotionally. I think that's why like meditation, self mastery, these things are important because you have to you have to confront them, and the only way to do that is to like really sit with yourself in the silence. And it's different types of meditation. I mean, going for a walk. I've been learning about different meditation because sitting hasn't really been doing much for me. But yeah, I'm still trying to face my own inner child. But I see that meditation is probably the most direct way. And I was telling the brother earlier how I had a lot of negative self talk when I was younger. I thought that's how men push themselves,
Mm.
by kind of like putting yourself down in a way, and it was supposed to be some kind of reverse. It makes you stronger. Like I don't know. I read a lot of comic books and watched a lot of cartoons. But yeah, man, I used to drag myself through the dirt mentally, and how I used to speak to myself. And I was a boxer for a while. Um, I had aspirations to go to the Olympics and things like that. And I think that's what stopped me. That's why I didn't go as far as I should have. It's because of my negative self talk. Um, it can only go so far.
Yeah, I was
You
just
can
about to
only
ask that.
you can only drag yourself through the mud so much, um, until the mental or that inner child starts to fight back and self sabotage. And the way my inner child self sabotage was, it exploited my weakness to women and my validation that I seek from them. And I got into a relationship with people that I didn't honor, I didn't value myself. So I was willing to give myself to any woman, and luckily it didn't end in no disease or nothing. But I allowed myself to be manipulated, and it just turned into a whole cycle where I had to just rebuild back from there. And I guess I kind of slowed down on the negative self talk when I was like 24, 25. And funny thing, that's when when your brain is supposedly developed now. But I still had like 7, 8 years of work to like. It was almost like a prison sentence. It's like now that you learn your lesson, you don't get out. Still, you still have to finish your sentence. And it wasn't until in my 30s that I really felt like I was like free of that. And I'm still on the road. I'm still on the road now. You know what I'm saying? But sure. I don't know, man. I hope that helped some way, but I don't even know what to really say, man.
I was gonna ask.
Honestly.
I was gonna say like, do you think, or does anybody think that like how you saying about like the self reflection, like does anybody think that like the self reflection helps, but like it also like only goes so far. You know what I'm saying? Like uh what's the word? What's the word I was gonna say? Like basically like when you like even when you say about the negative self talk, you know what I'm saying? Like I know for a fact that like that's something that like doesn't come out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like even when something negative happens to us, that uh that's not something that we just like I'm gonna do this to deal with this. Like no, that's something that was taught to us. Like you said, like that's something like that, kind of like you said, like that's something that was taught to us. Like that's how we're supposed to deal with being a man. You know what I'm saying? And we was taught that from many different arenas. But uh, so like we like deal with that type of thing. But then like even when we self reflect and like this happened, etc. And then so we self reflect to ourselves to deal with it, whether we meditate, etc. Like hobbies, whatever. Like years go past, you know what I'm saying? And like we may like graduate from that, but like you said, like that sentence is still there. And it's like that's why I asked, like, do you think like self reflection only goes so far, especially when it comes to like traumatic experiences, because uh what really needs to be addressed is not uh from us, so to say, because like we're the ones, or whoever it is, like they're the ones that went through the traumatic experience, or they're the ones who like something traumatic happened to them. So like we can self reflect all day. We can self reflect for the next 20 years and do different things, etc., to deal with that in our mind and etc. But like the real thing that needs to be addressed, or who that it needs to be addressed to, is the ones who caused the traumatic event. And I think that's also why it rolls over for so long, and also gets passed on, because the original uh I'll just say the original transgressor has never had to be addressed about that. Like they've never had to take accountability for that. So it
Yeah,
also
I hit.
kind of leaves a stain on the person that had been through that traumatic event, but the person who caused it, like, pretty much get to go on free about it, like it never happened. Like the deed that they did somehow is your fault, and so then we internalize that, and then we go on and we have to deal. That's part of what we have to deal with our mind is it being our fault. How is it our fault? Why is it our fault? You know what I'm saying? So like that happens a lot with, especially when it comes to a lot of traumatic events that happen like through family. Um, like things just get swept under the rug. Like it's a long, not only is it a long history that like sometimes people end up bringing that up as a topic about things getting swept up under the rug, but those conversations only end up lasting so long. And I feel like part of the reason why they only happen so long is because that means that uh basically to make it short, I'll just say like that means that uh our elders have to take accountability for some things. But a lot of times the way that we raised and brought up is like it's basically it's like it's blasphemy to call out our elders basically. But it's like what else is supposed to be done because like whoever is writing the book, whoever's reading the book, we can't keep on going on and each chapter is the same and it's uh what am I about to say then I was thinking of many things at the same time. My bad. I just lost my train of thought. Uh Basically things are not going to actually be. It's like the things happen and then as time goes on uh the more that the people who caused whatever that thing was, the longer that they don't have to answer for it, it's like the more that whatever you have to deal with, the one who had been traumatized, is like the more that is just like sealed up on you.
Yeah, you kind of feel like you have to carry it along.
Right. And it's like it gets to the point where you have no choice because it's like you're not supposed to bring that up. How dare if you bring that up? You know what I'm saying? Like how many of us was brought up and raised like of course like you know what I'm saying, of course like respect our elders, respect our, you know what I'm saying, but like to a certain degree, like if you done some sideways things, you know what I'm saying, and you know that you've done that to them, like what do you mean how dare they say something to you about that? So it's basically like we kind of taught to hush hush.
because what you just said, I just thought of some shit. You just say once our parents took their anger out on us, they basically was treating us like their mother and father because they couldn't
Right.
put their hands on their mother and father. So it's like, yes, abuse our children because they still living mentally in their kid years and thinking about, damn, how can we get back at our mother and father for what they done to us? And so they took their anger out on us selfishly. And so now we have to rock the bruises because they was too chicken shit to have the conversation with their mother and father about what they done. But what you also brought up about respect elders. So every generation, when they say respect your elders, they want not only to be in control, but also to protect themselves. So meaning once you challenge an older person, once you want to have that conversation with an older person, they will instantly stop you and say, respect your elders, don't disrespect me, etc.
Stay in a kid's place.
Yeah, that sounds like just that sounds like the transgenerational traumas that's being passed on. And you know, our parents, we are a product of our parents, and just like how they might have some self hate towards themselves, and then you have a physical embodiment of yourself in a younger person, a younger version of you. You know, it's almost natural for them to kind of share some of that self hate with you. Um, this is where that, you know, forgiveness comes into play, because that's the only thing that can really break the cycle is forgiveness. I know that should be the hardest, but the forgiveness is for you, and it's not for them. And I felt like when I really I felt like when I was able to forgive my mother and father for their transgressions, that I was able to soothe that inner child a little bit with the meditation and things like that. But like I said, once you in that sentence, my mom once told me that like every 7 years is a start of a new cycle in your life. So let's just use that for an example. So if like you are in the midst of that 7 year cycle in your life, it's like you gotta kind of just you kind of gotta make it through that cycle. There's no like cutting it short. And I know forgiveness is probably the hardest part, man, because it's not something that you did to yourself. It's not something. It's This is something that was passed to you that you didn't ask for. But it's one of those things that come with the life that they give you. They're gonna hand you some of that toxic shit too, because that's what they were handed, and they don't know. Like, our generation is kind of the luckiest, man, because we have access to all this knowledge and all this information. Like, sometimes I'm able to forgive my parents just because I know that they didn't have access to the information I have now. So they didn't have any guidance in trying to deal with these issues like we have, you know what I'm saying? And that doesn't excuse it. It doesn't excuse it at all, but the forgiveness is for you so that you can heal that inner self, and so that you don't pass it on to your children. And that's a part of the duty. You know what I'm saying? That's the part of the mastery. And shit, I'm still, like, I always gotta mention that I'm still in the midst of trying to master my own shit. So it's not like I'm not speaking from some place like I've already figured it out, but I'm on the journey. And from where I'm sent, from where I've come, and from where I've gotten so far, is forgiveness and forgiving yourself. Like, I'm still trying to forgive myself for not being a young rich nigga at 18, you know what I'm saying, doing all the stuff that I wanted to do at that time, and now almost being 40, and still haven't mastered the whole money thing. But I'm still going through a cycle from the mistakes that I've made in the past, and the mistakes that I was handed, the misinformation and things like that. So just really having patience with yourself, man. Just having patience with yourself, and it's really all about you. Sometimes you have to separate yourself from certain family and don't give them access no more. I had to do that. I have a whole side of my family that I don't really communicate with, except on my convenience, because that's when I can deal with it. If I can't, you know what I'm saying, if I don't feel like I have if I'm not in a state where I feel like I can deal with them, I just don't. And I kind of just stay away from them. I don't let them into my business. I don't let them know what I'm doing. it's kind of difficult when you have children because it's kind of unfair to like cut them off of all of that. But it's sometimes you just how they say you got to disappear and come back as a different version, and that's how I think about it. I just keep training and keep trying to I stick to my systems and my strategy. I try to trust the systems more than I trust myself almost, because I know I have bad programming, and it's gonna the bad programming is gonna lead to bad decisions. And but that's what I was handed. That the programming was what I was handed. The systems is what I did for myself, and I trust the systems like I trust like I have faith in God. You know what I'm saying? I have faith in what I think is right, and if I stick to these protocols, I'll end up in the right place, which is eating better. I'm still trying to get better at these things. Eating better, reading the right things, watching what I consume, because a lot of this shit is programming we get from movies and shit too, from society. Yeah,
Question.
go ahead.
Barry, what led to you to forgive your mother and father?
Just the understanding that they were handed shit too.
I
That
mean,
it
I mean,
was.
I mean, what really made you like to be like, you want to know what? I'm gonna forgive them, and not just for them, but to me. Like, what led you to just go that route?
I think realizing that the blame can go on forever. The blame can keep. I can trace the blame all the way back to slavery. I can probably trace the blame farther than that. But none of that shit, all the historical blame, it doesn't help me now. So only thing I know, the power is the power is in the now. And forgiveness was I'm not sure what left me to that thing. I don't know. It's something that I couldn't tell you exactly what. Maybe it was something I read, or I don't know. But at that part where the blame goes on forever, I've noticed that with other people that I speak with, and even when it comes to like solving problems and things like that, and like an issue would happen, and people would just go on the deep end, just like, yo, it was your fault, going back and forth, and that none of that shit solved the problem. And I think something like that probably made me realize that trying to find out who was to blame and where the problem started from, those things are kind of a waste of energy. Once you identify the problem, the solution starts with whatever you decide to do next.
Okay. Um. So are you trying your best to protect your children's mental health?
That's a tricky question, man, because it's like uh it's like the trauma has given me a hyper awareness, and sometimes I have my youngest son. Sometimes he's like so oblivious to things that's happening around him, and I have to remind myself that I'm so aware of certain things because of the trauma that I've been through. So the fact that he's not is a sign that he's not traumatized in certain ways. So it's like, damn, should I traumatize him a little bit so that he can be more aware of his surroundings and things like that? I don't know. It's kind of it makes you wonder, is this why our parents gave us some of that trauma? Because it's supposed to evolve your I watch a lot of comics. Is that what is gonna like activate your quirk? Is that the thing that's gonna like start your X gene? Like, is it the trauma? Is that why they pass it on to us so that we can like defend ourselves?
Right, because they suffer and they want us to suffer.
Yeah, but it's not even that they want you to suffer. It's like if I you gotta excuse my comic book analogies, but if I know if I know that all my kids have a mutant gene in them that's going to like turn on their powers, and the only thing they got to do is go through a traumatic experience, and after that they got electric powers that they can defend themselves with, or they got psychic powers that they can be aware with. It's like would I activate, would I like put them in a situation to activate that, or would I just allow them to be unaffected? But with great power, it's gonna come with something. You don't just get power just because. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like you something has to awaken. Like that whole burglary situation. I've been hyper aware ever since, and that's helped me with many things in my life. But it's also made me very aware of the things that I had no way of controlling, and those things cause depression, and those things cause other issues. But
Oh,
for that,
do you call it
but
paranoia?
it's probably partly paranoia. Yeah, but that paranoia is also the thing that gives me the vigilance to protect my family. I think about problems that they not even considering, and I start a plan for it.
Gotta tap in on that real quick.
Hmm.
So I get what you're saying too, because I've been at that point before also. Um, even without having a child, like I have a child now, but like even before having a child. But I think that either maybe it's a two-sided coin, or like I think that the like let's just say whatever traumatic event, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, like that event, it made you like hyper aware of certain things, you know what I'm saying? Like uh I'll just say the reason why I think that it's kind of the opposite of that is because like let's just say like it made us hyper aware to certain things, but at the same time it turned a lot of things in us off. Like I get what you're saying about like maybe our parents gave us a little bit of that gave us a little bit of like that trauma to make us aware of certain things. Like you said, like you sometimes you have to realize or recognize that uh, I just say in less words that you realize that like your son is like still innocent, uh, but like and like should you give him a little bit of that trauma to like you know what I'm saying like even like you're saying like Tupac like when you are going about the comic book dialogue like I'm right along with you. I understand what you're saying. But I don't think, and that's another thing. It's like you said, like we taught a lot of things, do movies and et cetera like that. I think that that's one of the things that we were taught through either comics, movies, etc. But the thing is when we were taught those things, it kind of desensitized us, and it turned certain mechanisms in us off, like in the way, but like basically like reverse psychology. Like they put this image in our face as this to show us that like it takes such a traumatic um event or something happening for these powers to wake up in you. You know what I'm saying? Now you control electricity and whatnot. But truthfully, I think that is actually opposite way. Like they showed us that, and so then like we also internalize that and believe that. But really, what the thing is like that actually it distracts us. Like if we're going by uh this a traumatic event gotta happen or whatever, and that wakes these powers up in us. Now we have these superpowers because of this traumatic event, and it made us hyper aware to certain things and etc. Uh, in a sense, it kind of like turns us off. Not to saying that like uh, everything on the other side, like everything is peaceful, there's nothing happening, but like at the same time, while we're distracted by these factors from being traumatized or whatever, and then we're hyper aware of these certain things because of that trauma. There's like a plethora of other things that we're now unaware of. So I think that like you're saying, like you get to a point like with the forgiveness and whatnot. You're trying to we get into a, because I have also like we get in that space where we trying to meditate and et cetera, you know what I'm saying? But like personally, we know that like that's only helping so much and it's only going so far. Like because it's like certain things are like distractions. It's distracting our brain. You know what I'm saying? It's distracting our brain, and we're trying to use these tools to like mellow that down so we can concentrate. You know what I'm saying? Like that shows right there. There's like on the other side, there's a plethora of things that have become unbeknownst to us because we've been trying to deal with this over here for so long. Uh, but like, I don't know. I like get that I've been at that place also, but like I think that the like you were saying about the blame, and it goes on and it goes on and it goes on. Like that's a part of, yeah, like yeah, I think that's a part of, let's just say that's a part of what's distracted us from being able to ignite these powers. You know what I'm saying? But like even in the like blame, um, like before when I was saying about the original transgressor needs to be addressed. When I brought that up and when I'm saying that, I'm not really coming from a point of to point out blame. Like my point of that is like because I had got to the point of like me forgiving my parents and other people who caused trauma to me, because I had realized like, hold on, if this happened to me, like they did XYZ, okay, and it was at this time, okay, and I can remember these other things, and then like thinking about how they are and who they are and etc., and then other factors and other people, and you know what I'm saying, like something happened to them. Like okay, so I'm peeping, so I'm realizing that something happened to them. So like I'm realizing, so it's like that was a part of my forgiving. You know what I'm saying? Because I realized like the thing that they did to me, somebody did that to them. But so like, but now you go into like trying to figure out and trying to figure out and trying to figure out. I think the part of trying to figure out is not to like continue on the blame game, but it's just to get to the root of uh it's to get to the root of what happened. Like because um how do I say that? Like there's here's this tree, right? A certain branch from the tree on the tree, the fruit on this branch is starting to go bad, and every time the seasons come around and it starts to flourish and it starts to bloom, this branch just still keeps on like it's just dying off, right? Well, if you don't get to the root of why that particular branch is dying off, it's gonna kill the whole tree. It's gonna eventually spoil the whole tree, and the whole tree is gonna go rotten, and then the whole tree is gonna end up not producing anymore. Like that's the kind of point I'm getting at. Not to point blame, but it's like, okay, this was done to me, that was done to them, that was done to them. But it's like the further you go, the further, we talking about people, but it's like the further we go back, it's like we can postulate or whatever. They're like, okay, such and such happened to them because because such and such happened to them. But it's like if we don't figure out uh if we don't figure out where it started, you know, because like I'll say like what you were saying about sometimes you get to a point to where like you don't deal with certain parts of your family. Like you just go do your thing and you come back, etc. Like, but it's like if we don't figure out where the thing started, uh, I don't know. I just feel like that those things are still going to be there, like because that's got to be addressed, not to be you started it, etc. But it's like it's at least got to know like why did this start? Like why did this start? What is the root cause of what is the root cause of this rotten branch?
Right, right,
And if we don't, and the further time goes on, uh, we may like let's just say like we may forgive, let it go, etc. You know what I'm saying? But biologically, those feelings, that curiosity, etc. Like we're still gonna pass that down no matter what. Like at some point, the next generation, the next branch, they're going to have questions. You know what I'm saying? Like even to this day, like kids grow up and they get to a certain point in their life and they already been wondering this like who's this in the family, who's that in the family. You know what I'm saying? Like they get to a certain point of like uh who is this person in family? Like why don't I know why don't I know my great grandparents? Why don't I know like this side of the family? Why don't I know these people? You know what I'm saying? And then like that's part of that goes back to part of what I was saying about things being swept under the rug because the further that it keeps being buried, the more questions that like the further the generations go, the more questions that they're going to have, and the further it keeps getting swept under the rug, the more that they're not going to have these questions. Their questions are not going to be answered. The more that their questions are not answered, uh, I just kind of put it like the more they're going to feel like the book has been shut on them. And
right,
to me, in a sense, that's still that trauma being passed down because they got unanswered questions. So like that still ends up being like locked in their mind.
right. And you know what? I haven't really figured that part out, man. And because I have this similar conversation with my wife sometime, and she's very much into the history of things and getting to the root. And that's kind of her mindset. My mindset is kind of just forward. Is about moving forward. I just don't feel like but like you said, my children can wake up and say, yo, what's up with this? And they can have that mindset about thinking about the past. And not to say that that shit don't still affect. Um, and everybody can see that I avoid certain situations. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I ain't going down to this people's house. I'm not doing this. I'm not, I have my own reasons for doing it. Um, and everybody's different, bro. Like, there will be a time where I might have to face it. And it seems like usually when funerals and things happen, like I feel like I have to face those things now because when you go to, you're going to have to see all these people when you go to the funerals or weddings or whatever, right? Um, so I don't know. I haven't really figured that part out. I haven't
Yeah,
figured that part out.
that's definitely a major thing, like with the funerals or weddings and whatnot, because like I be talking about with one of my brothers. Matter of fact, he in the chat actually. But like we be talking about a lot of these different things. But like one of the the deeper we go, the deeper we go, one of the major things that I keep on bringing up is like how you just said, especially like sometimes you try to avoid things and I deal with it and whatnot, but then like when funerals happen or weddings or certain events, you know what I'm saying? Even if people don't either end up talking about it, you know what I'm saying? Though all those memories come up, all those questions come up. Even if things is not said, all people got to do is look at each other. You know what I'm saying? And there's so many words said just in between the eyes. You know what I'm saying? But like one question that I keep on asking is why don't we have family reunions anymore?
It's because of shit just like that. People's now that in this age we have the internet and we have so many different ways of communicating, and you got so many other people than family that you can connect with. Like we having this conversation right now. This is probably a conversation I should be having with my brothers and cousins and shit. You know what I'm saying? But some of them are not ready to have this conversation. So at a different time, I would have had to just hold that to myself, right? Until maybe I found a friend or somebody I feel like I can talk to about it. But nowadays, I can write about it. I can, it's other outlets. They totally um don't totally heal it because it's not with the people that you necessarily went through it with.
Right.
Um, but it's important to have outlets. You know what I'm saying? It's important to have outlets because maybe I gotta level up these other parts before I can deal with that part.
Mm.
And I'm sure I'm gonna have to deal with certain stuff still. But that's why I have my systems, and I try to take the time that I have to work out strategies to internal strategies to deal with those things. Um,
That's kind of why always end up coming back around to the family reunion thing because and sorry if I'm talking real loud, my bad. But uh because I've just noticed over time that like family reunions just kind of like almost abruptly stopped. And I don't just mean for like my family or my size of family either. Like because I remember when people used to like you just said, like people on social media, different brothers. Like yeah, that's the thing too. But like I remember it was one time where like social media wasn't used exactly to the extent that it is now. Like people used to post their family reunions online. People used to invite people to their family reunions online. You know what I'm saying? They used to post pictures and whatnot after the family reunion. They used to make videos during the family reunion, post them. Like that's not happening no more. But the reason why, part of the reason why I bring that up is because still dealing with the trauma and whatnot is that, like, I think that part of the reason that, uh, like, the family reunion is not happening so much like that no more, um, is either because of the avoidance thing. I don't even mean just like uh, kind of the way you were speaking about avoidance. I don't even mean so much that way. I mean some more so like what I was saying about like things being swept under the rug. It's like that's why I think that family reunions ain't really happening no more because it's so much that keeps on going on. You know what I'm saying? Like because like even when we're talking about our trauma, you know what I'm saying, or the next generation trauma, like okay, the trauma goes back, but it's like these things that like whether we went through or cousins went through, etc., whatever generation, like that hasn't stopped. Like the family reunions have slowed down drastically, but the passing on of different levels of trauma that hasn't stopped. But it's like that's why I think that family reunions kind of have excuse me. That's why family reunions have kind of abruptly stopped because it's been so much that's not been addressed. You know what I'm saying? Like it's this side of the family fighting with that side of the family. This side of the family that's more well off. Look at the other side of the family who's not that well off, certain type of ways. Different family beefs, etc., etc. Uh, different different you know what I'm saying, like whether the kids, whether the younger generation end up finding out later on or not, you know what I'm saying, the adults is still, they went through some traumatic shit, you know what I'm saying, and like that side of the family is there or that family is there or whatever, you know what I'm saying, but it's like it's not just a singular person, so it's like so much of it is so is like getting to the point where there's is so much of the trauma being passed, either passed down or passed around, meaning people are still doing people are still doing traumatic things to people, even through family. That like that's why the family reunions have stopped because even when it comes to family reunions, like as the generations go past, you know what I'm saying, like it's not the elders that are constructing the constructing the event anymore. It's the next generation. So like every time the next generation is up and they're the adults now, and so they're the ones in charge of doing the family reunions. It's so much trauma that's being passed around, and so much trauma that's still going on that like they don't care about no family reunion no more. But to me that shows like how how stretched apart family is. Like it's so stretched apart that we're not even having family reunions anymore. Like family reunions are not just to get together and just have fun. You know what I'm saying? Uh, like they're to get together, have fun. They're to get together and know who's in your family. You know what I'm saying? Get to know people who's in your family who didn't know who's in your family. Know who your cousins are. Know who your uncles are, aunties, etc. Know who your elders are before they pass, etc. You know what I'm saying? But it's also one of the major reasons for uh, family reunions. One of the major reasons for family reunions and why family reunions became a thing was so that uh, uh, how do I say that? Was is so basically so family wouldn't end up in like incest type situations. So everybody gets together, so everybody know who their cousins are, et cetera. Because if you're not doing this type of thing, whether it's in a mass event or in our regular daily lives, you know what I'm saying? Like it would be
Yeah, I get
it
you.
starts to end up being like too easy or common that like it's been situations where it's been situations where two people get together and they kicking it off and they really like each other and et cetera, and they going on, and then some event happens or something, and then they found out that they cousins, and then it's like, damn, oops, it's too late because they didn't have a kid with each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah,
that it
that's
was
wild.
to like prevent that type of thing. But it's like the trauma has been going around so much that it stretched us apart so far that like even that concept to that level is like not so much cared about anymore. So it's like that kind of leaves open for trauma to just reign around.
Yeah, I feel like that's the double-edged sword of social media, right? We see each other every day pretty much on Facebook and these other situations, and everybody's get a chance to put up a representative or a facade, and then they don't want to meet in person because that's gonna dampen the veil, right? So I feel like that's another reason why the people live a certain way on social media, and then it's like I don't want to see you in real life because then you're gonna see it's not exactly that.
Mm.
And Yeah, so that's I don't know, but then social media, everybody's connected. I see you every day. I see every time your son is graduating from this or that, or have a had a good football game. So I think that's gonna happen regardless. I remember I know a family that I had a friend of mine. His family is real close knit, and and it's like a lot of the cousins and second, third cousins is getting into relationships and stuff like that. But these niggas come to they come to the family reunion like looking to bag stuff like, so it's like it's a mindset that I'm not sure if the family reunion is the only reason for that. It's certain people with a mindset
Yeah,
that is undisciplined
yeah.
and they go anywhere and they trying to get anything. You know what I'm saying?
You know how far it is? Is that like, in like I just said like, in like black movies,
Word.
um, like it pretty much became like a parody in movies. Like, it's been certain movies. I can't think of what the movies is, but I think Martin Lawrence was in it. I forget. But a matter of fact, what movie was that?
Don't be a menace.
No, not that. Uh, but it was a little scene of that in there. But um, what movie is that? Um, I can't remember which certain movies. What one of the movies like it had Maya Angelou. Uh, it like had some of the it had some of the like some
Oh,
of the
Tyler
older.
Perry movie.
It was a Tyler Perry movie, yeah. Okay.
I
And it had
think.
some of the older black women in it.
Mhm.
Cissy Tyson, Maya Angelou. But like now in that movie they was getting on them for like how the younger generation was. They was getting at them like y'all coming, y'all doing all this twerking and doing all this and acting all ratchet and like what have we become? But like there's also some where like there's the it's like kind of like pointed out in the movie too, but it's kind of supposed to be it's kind of put in there like it's supposed to be a funny thing, but it's like you go to the family reunion,
Yeah, I
you
think
got
that
the
was a
uncle
Tyler Perry
who
movie. Yeah.
yeah, you got the uncle who barbecues, you know what I'm saying? You got
And
the
looking at all the young girls, yeah, yeah.
exactly, yeah, you got the uncle, the weird, the like weird uncle who the girls pass me, who get it, you know what I'm saying? But then they just like side swipe it like it ain't nothing. It's like they like showing you in the face like that's not a fake thing. That's for real.
That's real, yeah. So I mean, I think it all boils back down to self mastery. You know what I'm saying? If everybody is trying to master themselves, I feel like a lot of those problems and a lot of trauma is gonna slow down, right? Because life is trauma in a sense. Like there's stuff we're gonna go through. There's gonna be trials and tribulations. So that's gonna traumatize some people, and depending on how you look at it. But I don't think it's no way we're gonna have no trauma. And but certain things we can avoid, and this is where culture comes in. And since our, especially Black Americans, our culture has been so it's been so we've been so messed with. We haven't been left alone since we were emancipated, supposedly. So I really feel like there's a system, and there's like an unseen hand that is moving the pieces on the board. And because our people are so unaware,
Hmm.
certain things are happening, and it's like even now with the dating scene, I feel like we've been the family, the men over the decades, the men are being attacked, the husbands, the fathers, the dads, the brothers, the women are being attacked, the mothers, the sisters, the aunties, the way they give birth, like all these things are being like systematically attacked. The children being attacked, the video games, the content. It's
Hmm.
like it's like something that's constantly the rap music, even how they changed from the early 80s where rap music had so many genres and different types to where they just focus everything into gangster rap from like 87 to like 95. that was intentional. You know what I'm saying? Like it's intentional things that's happening, and we just play along with it. We just go along with all these things because the minds are divided, and it makes it easier to conquer. Now we in 26, and it seems like it's almost like a state where our utility has been used up, and they looking for some new niggas to bring into the country.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To like kind of replace us, because it's like they not even valuable. Like they don't even know what they doing. It's beyond the point of being domesticated and euthanized. It's become it's I don't even know what to call it. But it's like an unseen hand, and if we're not mastering ourselves, we just playing into the game of like the big I would say like the big families, the big families that's running running the country or running the world.
Right.
If I was in one of these big families, if we're gonna call it the Rockefellers or the whoever's, right, and I was on the top, and I was one of the decision makers, I would stay unseen, and I would put little things into the ecosystem. I would put a little something in the water, put a little something in the air, because the competition is not the competition is really between families. So if I could keep y'all confused and fighting each other, my family gets to reign a little bit longer.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, they can point it at this color man or that color man or
Mm-hmm.
this guy with money or this or that. It's really a chess game amongst families.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're on the top of those families or on the top of that ecosystem, my only fear is that the people will realize that I'm on the top. And then they will all look at me and say, that's the problem.
Right.
But before they do that, I'm gonna mix a little joy, I'm gonna mix a little pleasure, I'm gonna mix a little this, I'm gonna mix a little that, so that it just look like it's coming from all directions. And
Right.
you never gonna look in our direction.
See, when you just said about um like the beginner, you were just explaining that when you said about being left alone, that right there is the point that I'm getting at. Uh, that's part of the point that I'm getting at when I like back to the comic dialogue about the powers being ignited. That's part of what I'm getting at right there. Is like I don't think it comes from. I don't think that it gets enacted coming from whatever certain or particular trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like even though we know that like okay, trauma does ignite some particular senses and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think that it enacts those particular senses. It just they're already enacted. It just like you just hone in on that, like you know what I'm saying, full stead. But when you say about the being left alone, that's the part that I'm talking about on the other side of that trauma. Like I don't think it's the trauma that gets us to that point of those powers. I think that that point you just said about being left alone, that right there is what enacts those powers. Like if you were saying in a comic sense, like those superpowers or those supernatural powers or whatever, like when being left alone, when being left alone, for well enough, that's how those powers have been enacted. But like just how you just broke that down with the families, like while all of that is happening, and then to the point where you say about then I'll sprinkle a little joy and etc. Like when that's what's happening, and when it's happening so much and back and forth, like that's all that trauma. All of that is what's keeping from. that from that power being active because we're so swamped and distracted by the effects of all these different traumas. But like when being left alone long enough, when being left alone long enough, then people will be able to black, red, brown. I'm confused. Then we'll be able to ignite those powers because we'll be able to not only have a sense of, but then people will be able to concentrate. Like people not being able to able to concentrate because it's constant. It's like these constant traumas, constantly, and
Distractions and
the
shit.
distractions. See, that's why whether you said it or I can say it because I've been there. Anybody else. That's why when dealing with the whatever trauma that we've been through, we got to a point to where we try to use meditation or whatever hobby or working out or whatever it may be, you know. But going off of the meditation, when we try to use when we use the meditation, we're using meditation as a form of being left alone. And it's like there's a sense in us that knows that like I need to be left alone, not only to deal with whatever, but and not only to get past whatever, but but basically to like rise above that. You know what I'm saying? So like, but that's going off of a singular person. You know what I'm saying? Like now when we're talking about a mass of people or we're talking about a whole family, you know what I'm saying? Like it's about needing to be left alone. That's what I think would ignite uh would ignite that. But I also think that like that's goes back to like what I was saying before about uh asking the questions or trying to figure out like where did where did ABC come from or where did ABC start. It's like that's why I brought that up because that's part of the distractions because it's a reason why anybody would know want to know where it started or where it came from. You know what I'm saying? Because whether they like not going off of the to blame, but them needing to know because whether they trying to figure out how to fix it or resolve it or whatever the case may be, uh because otherwise not like it's causing a constant distraction because like you still got questions, you still got ideas. People also have like they got resolves to, you know what I'm saying, but it's like there's certain questions that they need to be answered to get ahead of that. You know what I'm saying? Like when me and my offspring mother was still together, when we were still together, and I would be and we would be expressing to each other like the traumas have gone through or whatever with our family. Uh, I would at a certain point, it's like that's something that I was trying to explain to her, and at a point it seemed like she didn't understand. Either she didn't understand, or like to a point it seemed like she didn't want to understand because how could you not understand if you're expressing the same thing? But like I was trying to explain to her, like it's not that I'm like okay, I'm in this area in my life where like I'm kind of stuck. You know what I'm saying? Especially when having to do with family. It's not that I'm stuck here because I want to be stuck here. Uh, they like there is whether it's particular people in my family or just a family in general. Like uh yeah, no, I'll say it's particular. Like it's particular people like in my family that like they still have the keys to the answers, like to the answers of questions that I have. You know what I'm saying? And it's like not that I want to be stuck in this area where I am in my life now, but like uh basically they kind of gatekeeping and like if they don't if I don't get these answers that I you know what I'm saying if I don't get these answers to these questions that I have, like that is hindering me from moving forward in a certain area. You know what I'm saying? Because they have the answers. Like they have the keys. And like if they gatekeeping and not trying to pass the keys on, like they hindering me from even personally moving forward in certain areas.
When you mean they have the keys, is that like the keys to like generational wealth, or like the keys to his like family histories, or
Yeah, like certain family like family history, or it could be family history, or it could be like certain family members. Well, I guess that's family history too, or just like ancestral wise, like or like certain things, certain events or whatnot that happen in the family. You know what I'm saying? That either whether it either trickle down or happen to you personally, or whether they shared a story before about certain person in the family. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got certain questions, you know what I'm saying?
do do
And
you
also
think
keep in mind that
those?
we talking about, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was just asking, what do you think those answers will enlighten something about yourself?
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like they're holding keys. They have the keys to basically they have the keys to doors that I'm trying to get in. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm saying that right now, like about me personally, but like I know this happens to a lot of people. So like they have the keys to doors either that I'm trying to get into or that I need to get into. Or it's like I'm at this point, I'm at this point at this place in my life, and it's like now I'm at this door, but I can't get in because so and so got the keys to it. But when I go in,
are you looking for clarity and purpose?
yeah.
Clarity, okay, yeah.
It's like if they're not handing over the keys, it's like they're hindering you from that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right, right.
we also obviously have like uh um what was those two words you just said?
Clarity and purpose.
Yeah, we obviously have like a that within ourselves personally. You know what I'm saying? But like I don't want to say that like that only goes so far, but like I'll just say that like to an extent, no one can pretend like we got here by ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why we talking about family. That's why we talking about bloodline, or whatever you want to call it. So like if if somebody like they need to know certain things or whatever about certain events in the family or certain people in the family, you know what I'm saying? And like whatever it is that they need to know to step forward through this door in their life. And but somebody has the keys to that, and they don't fork those keys, or they won't pass the baton. You know what I'm saying? That's slowing the race down. And then that also causes the person to uh that's what causes that's sometimes what causes people to get stuck right there. And then sometimes like I'll say like um one of the terms we know that as is like some people like they end up in a midlife crisis. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
whether it's
right.
identity or whatever it may be. Like they get to that point in their life or whatnot, and like they get stuck or they feel stuck or etc. Like it's questions, it's either questions or whatever it is that they need to know or whatever, and like they are not being provided with the answers to that.
You know what I use I use the horoscopes, and like I take my, my dad, before he passed, I had his birth certificate and things. I was able to find out when he was born, what time exactly, and especially for myself when it came to purpose and stuff like that, because I didn't have a lot of my uh like my dad's side. I don't have that much contact with them, and especially they're from Jamaica and stuff, so I didn't get I didn't have so much communication and contact with them, or all like that. Um, but I collected everybody that I could, their birthdays. Um, I looked into all these horoscopes, astrology. I even looked up this thing called Bonzi. It's like a Chinese astrology,
Okay,
and
okay.
I use that to study myself. I look at I read them every time every around my birthday. I go through my my star chart, or what they call a natal chart, and I don't take it as I kind of take it the same way I would read the Bible. I don't take it as literal facts. I
Mm.
take it as like a guideline, and these things have been studied for years and centuries. So it has to be some kind of some kind of useful knowledge in it, right? So I don't necessarily I don't say I believe in I guess I do in a way, since I do look at it for some kind of guidance. But I look in the Bible and I find the stories in the Bible a similar way. I look for a similar. I look for. I don't take the Bible literally. You know what I'm saying? I take it as it's like a guidance type of thing. Like, these stories are the stories that men in general go through in life and at different stages of their life. The story of David. There was a time that I was in the position of a king. There's a story of Job. There was this time where I was in the position of a prisoner. There was a story of Jesus. I was just, there was a time in my life where I was maybe enlightening to others. There's a story, there's all these different stories, and I just look at how they deal with these situations, the outcomes, and those type of things. And the horoscope and the zodiac and the natal chart, it gives you a direct purpose type things. It gives you directly a purpose type stuff.
Mm.
Um the bond the Bazi charts, it tells you exactly your body composition and how you should eat to survive, like things that are good for your body type. When I go to the doctor, I go get a test for my blood type, my testosterone levels, and there's another one too. I go ask my doctor for these four things, and that kind of tells me where's um like I'm a O type blood type. So there's a certain way, O type, A type, B type, how these blood types and how these body types, how you have it's almost like having a car.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a certain way you have to fuel them, and it's a certain way you have to maintenance them, and that's just so I can get the optimum performance out of it. Because if I'm not thinking clearly, then none of the information I'm gathering is going to even make sense.
Right.
And this is something I've been doing recently, of like the last 5 years. So it's still a working theory, but it gives me clarity. Even if, because I know the mind is all, if I believe it to be true, then it's true to me. Just like it's like a stress. Most stress is not outside stress, it's really how you perceive the stress. And that's how it affects your body. So that's all information that's going through the mind, and your body and spirit essentially is is responding to your belief.
Right.
So if I can control what I believe, if I can control what I consume, then I can control how I feel. I can control how I perceive things. Um, I think this is why they mess with our food. This is why they mess with the water. Like, all these things are just little things that they put into our, like, obstacles. You know what I'm saying? It's just all these are all just little roadblocks,
Yeah.
just little shit to trip on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if we focus more on those things, I feel like it's going to clarify some of the like, it clarifies the bigger picture. Every little thing that you do can add more clarity. And I guess really, if I believe it's true, then it is. If I believe what I'm telling you is true, then it will help me. If if you don't believe it, then I guess it won't help you. But they a lot of ancient texts and stuff say the mind is all. This is the whole thing with the inner child. The inner child's about that belief system. Just like how I believe my inner child believes in all the comic books and shit that I used to read, and it kind of sets the base for these theories and stuff that I come up with, like the X-Men gene type shit, the X-Men, the mutant gene. My parents felt like putting me through. I'm just giving an example of a belief system that could either help you or hurt you. If I believe that we all have a mutant gene, and with my parents not knowing the future,
Mm-hmm.
but if based on their own experience, that shit was gonna be hard, and they say, you know what, I'm gonna put you through some hard shit so that you can get activated, and at least you have a fighting chance. Or the other side of that is, I'm just gonna let life do with you.
What it do?
I'm just gonna let the random shit happen to you, and hopefully you make it. You know what I'm saying? And if you in the mindset of someone who's been traumatized, who's been damaged and hurt by life, or felt like life was an obstacle against you, and you have your offspring, and you're like, all right, I was not prepared for this, and that, and the third. But you know what? I'm gonna make sure you sent out there with the right weaponry, and
Mm-hmm.
I might have to bust your ass. I might have to, I might have to put you real close to the fire. I might have to let you taste how cold is. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully one of these things is going to activate you, but I don't know which one it is. And this is where the confusion comes in, and maybe the shit is overdone. Yo, I've been hurt so bad that I'm in the mindset, in my mindset, I'm protecting you. And this is also not clear thinking too.
Right.
And my mindset, the I've been I've been I've been drugged through the dirt so hard that I'd rather you be prepared. I'd rather send you out here with some kind of weaponry, and I know it's gonna hurt you I know it's gonna hurt you for you to receive it, but I'd rather you get it from me than get it from the world, because the world ain't gonna care about you. So it's like, maybe I'm giving you this pain with love. You know what I'm saying? It's some weird, twisted, fucked up shit, bro.
I'm
But at
glad
the
that you
same
said
time,
that.
it's like they trying to arm you. They tried, and with that mindset, I can forgive you for that, because in my mind, you was trying to give me some armor to walk out here with, because the world is unforgiving, and with that, I can only deal with now, because that shit that was already happened. I can only deal with now, and since we living in this information age, I try to use the most. I try to use the information as best I can. I try to the shit that I don't know. I know that it's out there. I don't have to hold all the shit in my head. I don't have to hold all these ideas. I don't have to hold. And most of them, my meditation is not even thinking about. I'm trying to not think about anything. I'm trying to like just view my thoughts and label them and say that's a negative. Like something happens, and it's negative. I try to be neutral about all my thoughts, because there's even a theory that says our thoughts are not even our own. Just like how you might be driving in a certain area and you turn on the radio stations is not coming from the radio in the car. It's picking up radio waves. So what's it different from our brain? We be in a certain environment and we picking up the negativity station that we on, depending on, how our mind is set up, and where our station and tuning is at, and where our awareness and stuff is at. So our thoughts are not our own. It's only a few it's only a few thoughts that we actually have, that we actually like summon ourselves. A lot of this shit is influence. by TV, by this, the movies, by shit other people saying. It's influence. So knowing that, I try to step back from a lot of my thoughts, and that's how I was even to recognize that I had negative self talk. Like something would happen, and the negative self or the negative thought, or let's say my mind was tuned to a negative station, and I would take whatever that thing is, and I would take that as a negative thing, or I would perceive it as negative. But now when I'm able to have presence of mind to be aware of that, and I'd be like, hold on, that's not even my shit. That's that's a psychic I don't want to say a psychic attack. That's not my thought.
Right.
That person that's saying, you failed again? Damn, you a bum ass. Da, da, da. That's not me that's not my thoughts. That's some shit I didn't picked up from somewhere. And so that's when I say meditation, that's really what I'm saying is really like observing my thoughts instead of being my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And having a habit of doing that, it makes you take that 1 second and put yourself in a strategizing seat, observer, like a general. You know what I'm saying? I'm observing the battle. I'm not in the battle, and I can make better decisions from that position than when I'm thinking I'm in the heat if I'm in the heat of the battle, then I'm reacting. If I'm sitting back watching the battle, then I am observing and deciding. So that's when I'm talking about meditation is really trying to be in that observer mindset. There's a book that says damn, what's the guy's name? There was a Egyptian book. I think his name was Thoth, and he wrote this book called the Hermetes. It's been a minute since I wrote it, but it was like the Hermetes, and Thoth was the god of pretty much thinking. He was a god of thought and thinking and things like that. And he wrote in his Hermetica. I think that's why I got that idea about the thoughts are not our own. We pretty much picking up thoughts from the shit around us. But damn, I kind of lost the train of thought. But yeah, if you get a chance, man, just like listen. It's on YouTube for free. You can listen to the Hermetes of Thoth, and it's about thinking, and Thoth is not it's like really. I don't take it literally, so I don't even think Thoth was an actual person. He was a representation of thinking. He was a god. All the Egyptian gods, they didn't necessarily pray to the gods. The gods were just a visual representation of a concept. So that's the same way I look at comic book characters. Superman is a visual representation of power and whatever, right? Batman is a visual interpretation of the subconscious and how you don't let shit go, and the planning and all these superheroes and stuff. They have their powers because they represent something outside of Bruce Wayne and the powers and shit like that. They actually represent a concept in like a human condition. So that's the same way I read the Bible and things like that. It's these people and these images, they represent something. Just like the horoscope, Aquarius isn't just about the water bearer. He's not just pouring water on the world. The water is information, and an Aquarius is supposed to be someone who is dispensing information or gathering information, whatever, right? You have the Taurus. like the Taurus represents the ox or whatever. It represents something. It's not about